Have you ever wanted to go on holiday with a Premier League footballer?
Ever wondered what they get up to, how they celebrate promotion and what the training schedule's like?
Well, look no further. Welcome to Beyond the Ball.
Portugal pending, baby. Portugal pending. Woo!
What separated you from the others? Was it your mindset, your motivation, or just your general talent?
I think I've always had, without sounding arrogant, I've always had a certain amount of natural talent, which I was always aware of. You know, not in an arrogant way, not in a cocky way. I was always aware that I could do things that other people couldn't do. But I think, especially through the years and how I can look back at it now, I think there's a lot of players that actually do have a lot of talent. I think what really hit me, it probably didn't hit me until sort of 14, 15, was that I actually genuinely realised that talent wouldn't be enough. I don't think you can get to the top without having that extra, that competitive, like I can't lose at anything and it hurts me at everything I do, I can't lose that. And like, you know, you laugh with me, my friends laugh with me about it, you know, it stinks. You know, sometimes I can be a stroppy little teenager and I lose at things, but that builds into my football, that builds into my training, that builds into the competitive edge that ultimately pushes you ahead of other people.
And you just naturally had that?
Yeah, always. I mean, George can tell you, as kids we were just constantly, everything was a competition. We couldn't do anything without something being on the line, you know, and I think that did come from our father as well. He's obviously very competitive and always sort of embraced the fact that me and him should go up against each other, and obviously Geordie was 4 years older than me, so it was always, you know, I had to go in a little bit harder, I had to be a little bit stronger, you know, all of that natural stuff. So, you know, I honestly couldn't have done it without the people that are around me, and whether they realise that or not, you know, whenever you're having a moment where you doubt yourself, whenever you're having a moment where things aren't good, injuries, all of those things, it's when you then really appreciate your circle around you.
This is all one big surprise for Toddy.
Yeah, Toddy has no idea, but we thought we'd get him a little personalised t-shirt and soak him in some champagne. So.
And we're hoping we're going to catch it all on footage.
Let's go.
Let's see how it goes. Let's go.
Serge, come in, come grab this, mate.
Right, you're just going to do it.
We are Premier League! We are Premier League! We are Premier League! We are Premier League!
Jordan, have a sit for a new camera, mate.
And just following on from that loan spell then, it was obviously a massive for you as a player, but what did it actually do for you as a person?
Yeah, no, I think that loan spell was what made me really. It made me realise that this is definitely what I want to do. It made me realise how much I actually enjoyed having something to play for, because ultimately sometimes that pressure can get to people. And being completely honest with you, I anticipated that I might be one of those people. I have never been put in that environment before and had genuinely no idea how I would cope. But you know, ultimately I thrived in that environment. Obviously the connection I had with the club and the team and the manager was absolutely brilliant, and I'm fully aware it could have gone the other way, and that might not even have been in my control. So I'm very lucky and thankful for that and how it panned out really.
Talk me through the Dutch fans.
So yeah, no, they were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. Like I say, I hadn't really had a taste. I'd obviously been around first team games and, you know, been to different games as a kid, which obviously I enjoyed. But, you know, you could see, feel, you had like a genuine connection with them. You were playing for the badge on your chest and they lived for that badge. And you felt that. So every time you scored, you saw the actual emotion in people's faces. But for the derby, we were doing well. We beat them 3-0 at our place, and there was like a record in so many years of 10,000 people there. And Do you know, it's absolutely incredible. It was my first real taste of what it meant to play football. Do you know what I mean? And what it meant to people when you play football. Because under 23s, academy, it's all for yourself, really. You know, you always say it's a team game and that, but when you're at that level, you're promoting yourself. But when you're in a team environment, and I think that's kind of where I am now, where I care so much about winning that I put all of statistics, I put all of my personal accolades aside, because I'm dedicated to winning the game and winning titles and trying to achieve things that I'll look back on and say, you know, I did this, I did that. Obviously, contributions are massively important, but you know, if you're on the winning team, you're always doing something right.
Check it out.
So going back to January, when you were making your third round FA Cup debut for Norwich against Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, the manager gives you a nod. What's going through your head? Are you thinking about individual errors? Are you thinking about the team performance? You know, what's going on?
To be fair, we were 1-0 down at the time, and I was honestly just happy to be there at that point. Sounds weird, but remember obviously like being named on the bench. I'd been on the bench for a couple of championship games, had been training well, you know, thinking I'll go, you know, I ultimately won't play. But, you know, we're there, we're losing 1-0, there's 5 minutes left, I'm warming up, and I just think there's absolutely no chance. Like, honestly, genuinely, I think at the time, I remember it pretty well, because I was warming up with a couple of different people, I think like Harrison Reed and people like that, and I was staring at a fan, shouting at a Norwich fan while I was warming up, and I was watching and listening to what they were saying, and they were shouting me. I couldn't hear them because I was so engrossed. It wasn't until Reedy actually come up to me and like pulled me and was like,
Oh, so the coach and staff were shouting you?
yeah.
And you were just
listening
listening to a conversation?
Because it's obviously better times. Fans are in the stadium. Like, there's an atmosphere. You can't, unless you're actually actively looking, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
So he pulls me. I go running up the sideline. And even then, it's not hitting me. I'm thinking, right, okay, you know, here it is, you know, going to play football. It wasn't until I ran on the pitch, and I remember the feeling, and I've seen it in, like, you know, the FIFA promotions, when they pretend that you're amongst the players. And I remember I ran onto the pitch, I ran past Morata first, then I saw Kante at one shoulder, Hazard, I went on the right, so Hazard was there, David Luiz was there. You know, all of these players that I'd watched as a kid, playing at different teams, you know, World Cups, everything, I was there. And it felt so surreal. And I'll be honest, yeah, I was really, really nervous. We're on, Jamal scores, and I celebrate that goal because I know that means an extra 30 minutes. Like, that's honestly like how I was feeling. I was thinking 30 more minutes is brilliant. You know, when I watch my performance now, I think, wow, I was miles off it. Do you know what I mean? Right. But that's all part and parcel of, you know, I went into that, and I remember after, everyone was saying, wow, he didn't look out of his comfort zone, he looked good, you know, young lad, first game and all that. When I watch it now, I think I was miles off it. Like, you know, what am I doing there? Why am I not there? And all of that. But no, it's surreal, and I probably wouldn't have wanted to done it a different way when you think about the players you're up against and you know how good that was.
And you lost your headband in the celebrations, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a stinker. It was an absolute stinker. I remember I jumped in, and you know, obviously being a local lad, and I remember jumping in, and one fan sort of like pulled the back of the thing, and my hair bubble came out. And I remember thinking, no way, like no way, because anyone that's had long hair, in your eyes, in your face, like it's the worst thing in the world. And I was thinking, oh no, it's the last thing I need. So I'm actually, as we run back, I shout to the kit man, bearing in mind I've just come on and made my debut, I shout sort of past the manager, have you got a hairband? And he sort of looks at me as much as go, like, course I haven't. Do you know what I mean? So I had to play the whole game like that, and I was so paranoid, I had to keep tucking it behind me, I had no product in my hair or anything, it was a nightmare, but yeah, that was That was far from ideal, to put it nicely. Yeah, far from ideal.
It's still on. It's still on. Johnny, get it! Insurance on, Toddy. Have you got it? I help.
And touching on, you said you heard some of the crowd interaction. Yeah. What's the funniest thing you've ever heard? Like, if you go up for a corner, can you...
Keeping it PG, right?
Keep it, well, we can blur it out, but if you go up for a corner or throw in, can you hear what everyone's saying?
Of course you can. People always say you can't. Of course you can. Honestly, when you're in a game and you're engrossed in the game, you don't. Yeah. When you're 2 or 3-0 up, you're hearing everything. There's been some funny ones, but like I say, not many of them are...
Go on, try us.
I think the one thing that I can remember the most, I remember I was going for a short corner. I think it might have been... It was in the Premier League. It might have been Crystal Palace, you know. I remember running to the corner to go short. And someone just went, "Give it to that girl running down the line," or something like that. It was like, give it to... Oh, there was obviously other words involved. And I sort of looked, and he looked at me, and I looked back at him, and he just looked at me like he wanted to knock my head off. And I was like, all right, so that's how it is, sort of thing, you know. And obviously carried on. I remember Bournemouth, I think every time, it's quite quiet down the stand, obviously I was playing on the wing. And every time I fell over and got a free kick, I would just be the same, like there was like spread out along the stand, the same people were just hammering me for being like soft, being, you know, everything that you can imagine. But no, of course you hear it, especially like I say at Bournemouth, like where it's a quieter stadium and people are actually there to watch a game. I think like when you're at bigger stadiums and you've got thousands and thousands all probably shouting the same thing, you can't specifically hear anything, but...
So they're fans that definitely don't like you for obvious reasons. Yeah. What about the fans or the weirdest fan encounters that you've had of, like, you know, Norwich fans or Todd Cantwell fans?
So yeah, so I remember the first season we went up, it was my first obviously around, you know, being around Norwich, being around the team. Played a bit at the start and it was coming towards the end of the season where we knew we were going to win it. I remember going out for a warm-up and every time you went to warm-up they were loving everyone that went out. So it was like, it was class to go out for a warm-up. Obviously went out for a warm-up down the bottom, I think it's the Snake Pit, we were down there, and a guy just leaned over to me and went, "Todd." I was like, obviously I can hear him, you know, he's right there, like, turned around, he was like, "How are you, mate, you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." Like,
not bad.
I'm warming up. He was like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And he goes, "Can I get your shirt?" And I said, "Well, the game's still going on, so I can't give it to you right now." He was like, "Can I get your boots?" And I was like, "Mate, I'm warming up." And I sort of like looked the other way and sort of like laughed. I can't remember who was on the bench with me, but I laughed. I sort of jogged back down. He was like, "Todd." And I just had to pretend I couldn't hear him because I thought I can't interact anymore. I'm just stood speaking to a fan when I could come on in a game. So, I mean, yeah, you get all sorts of that. I suppose for them as well, you know, they've got a chance to interact with someone, you know, someone they pay good money to watch or whatever, you know. I understand it by all accounts.
Have you had to sign any weird items?
Yeah, I mean, we get quite a lot of fan mail come through, and there's been some atrocious things been sent to be signed. You know, I've actually said to the gentleman that sorts it out at the club now, I've said to him, "I want you to open everything before I do." Yeah, we don't need to go into what I've been sent, but I've been sent some very, very strange, bizarre things, but I promise you I didn't sign them.
So, talking about struggles and challenges, at the start of the championship season, there was about 3 or 4 games where you were left from the squad. How do you react to that as a player?
Yeah, it's difficult. You know, we come off the back of an individual good season in the Premier League, something that I would have definitely have took at the start of the year, you know, before it started. But ultimately, there was a lot of disappointment when we got relegated. You know, no one wants to be part of a team that gets relegated, and you know, there was a lot of speculation from a lot of different teams that any player that tells you don't see it is a lie. You do see it, and obviously you have private, internal conversations about where your future is going to end up. And you know, you obviously are true to the contract that you're on, but you're also fully aware that, you know, at any point you could be sold, you could find out, you know, pretty last minute, you could be going here, you could be going there, you could be going anywhere. And it was something that I hadn't been through before. So ultimately I didn't know how to react to it. Going through it now and looking back, there's things I could have done better, but there was also things that were taken sort of out of context a little bit, I would say. Now I've been through something like that, and I've been through a transfer window where you're linked to leave or you're linked to go somewhere else, that there's better ways that personally I could have dealt with the situation. But also, you know, I was there, you know, I played the first 2 games, I was ready to be there, you know, I wasn't like I wasn't turning up to training or whatever, you know, I was fully committed to the season. Me and the manager got a fantastic relationship. Like, ultimately, he is the man that put me in the position I'm in today. And yeah, I believe that I would have got into the position, but he came to my club and gave me that opportunity. I can only ever be thankful for that. And we have that relationship where I feel like I can be honest with him and he can be honest with me, and he always has been and I always have been. And it doesn't always end well. You know, you've got 2 people that have completely different opinions, but we always respected each other. And when we got to the point at the end of the window, we both sat down, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying now that we both were pretty open and clear that we needed each other to get to the Premier League, and we wanted to get to the Premier League. And as a manager, you need every player wanting to get there, and I needed to get there because that's ultimately where I wanted to get to. And it was quite simple from there on in. You know, he gave me, you know, that starting position again. You know, it's my position. If I'm at it, if I'm showing that I want to give it all to the team, I'm at it, and I haven't really looked back really. So, you know, and as well with Norwich, it's my local team, so it does mean something. It's where my family's from, it's where my friends are from. You know, it's closer than anything else that you can compare to.
Okay, we're here, ready for a beach party.
Puro Beach.
Weather's a bit grim, but we move. What
Time
are you
to
saying,
celebrate promotion. Have it.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bro. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the fastball. Just too quick for it. Peeling off like the whip orange. Seen they effort this piss poor.
Did somebody say competition time? Yes, they did, because we have 3 prizes to give away for 3 lucky viewers.
One viewer will receive a signed match-worn Cantwell shirt from a game of your choice. One viewer will receive a signed pair of match-worn boots, and another viewer will receive a signed Todd Is Premier League top.
There are 3 entries up for grabs. For 1 entry, like and comment on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
For the other 2 ways to enter, please see the description box below. Good luck!
Too much that I've been through, so I put it all in that rear view. Clean money in a black whip, got old problems with the friends new. Yeah, I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. Yeah, I need a bag, bruh.